Hello and welcome to day 24 of Dephemerember for 2022, hosted by Barbara from 49 Dragonflies and Luise from Junk Journal Art. So coffee or tea and a specimen card, and kangaroo is my randomly chosen animal. Okay, I did have this little kangaroo cut out and ready to go. He's almost the right size to go inside a specimen card. I don't think it's what a specimen card is supposed to hold, so you can just hop over there for a little minute. Skippy, stay in over there. I've got butterflies and flowers and things like that I can put in a specimen card. I've also got an assortment of cardboards and things, and I'm just going to have a bit of a play around because I haven't made many specimen cards. I've been trying to think of some different ways of doing them rather than the old, the normal stuff that everyone does. So I'm just going to see what I can come up with, and I'm going to play with my hot glue gun, see whether I can embed something into some hot glue. So that'll be the first one that I try. I'll see what size it turns out, or if it turns out, and then I'll make a card for it to go in, and then possibly another couple. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I need to get my glue gun heated up. I've got a piece of baking paper there, because I know the glue won't stick to it. I'm making a puddle with the hot glue on the baking paper, and then I'll drop the flour into the hot glue, and then I'll pour more hot glue over the top of it. So I'm just applying the glue over the top of the dandelion. I'll close the paper over the top of the hot glue, and I'm just using the lid off a coffee jar to press that down. Next thing I'm going to try is this fly. Doing exactly the same thing, but I dropped it in the wrong place again, and then when I moved it, it started to break apart. So I'm putting more glue over the top of it. So we just recently had our house pest treated, and I knew I'd find some cockroaches somewhere out in the yard or in the garage, and I got this little one. So I'm putting this into the glue as well. Can't believe I actually touched a cockroach. Putting the glue over the top and then pressing it down. I have my cockroach. So there's my dandelion, my fly, and my cockroach. Then I get this brilliant idea, why don't I put them back in the paper and then iron them to see if I can flatten that glue out a bit more and make it more transparent. So I iron these, and I can tell straight away that I've wrecked them to a certain extent. I was just trying to get the hot glue thinner and hopefully a bit clearer, but the fly is just it's no longer a fly, it's just pieces. My flour, I can't get that off. There we go. The flour didn't do too badly. The cockroach lost bits of its legs, and its antennae has been smushed around everywhere. And it's definitely a lot clearer than it was. The glue, I mean, because it's thinner. So I think the fly's going in the rubbish. I'll keep the cockroach, and I'll keep the flour. So I'm going to put them to the side for the time being. I want to try this packaging tape next. See whether that will give me like a transparent window type thingy. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to put one there. So I've got some sort of flying beetle, and then I've got a moth, and then I've got a crawling beetle. Yeah. cut that off. And then attempt to lay another piece on top. It probably would have been easier to do these one at a time, but you know, I like to live on the wild side. You never know if you don't try. I don't know if you guys can actually see that against the brown, but if I put a piece of paper down, it'll just stick to the tape. Sorry about that. Okay, I'll try and get it as close as possible. That's actually not too bad. Okay, I'm just going to put them aside. Just leave them attached to each other for the time being. So that's 2 methods. And then the last one I want to try is laminating. And I know that's going to work. I haven't actually done this before. Okay, I've got a lamination folder here. And I've got some stickers. Now these ones are all rub-ons and these ones are just stick-ons. So I'm going to put them inside the laminator pouch, lamination pouch, whatever it is. And I'll put these ones on first. Pull the backing strip off. There you go. I've got my laminator heating up on my other little table over there. Oh, they're all separate. I didn't realise that. Those 3 there. Now these ones I need to rub on. I don't know if this will have an effect on this sheet. Blob of something there, get rid of that. I'm going to find out. It hasn't attached. I'm pretty sure it's a rub-on. Maybe it's not. Oh yes it is. Okay, it's starting to come off. Some of them you only need to do a little bit of rubbing and they come off, and then these ones, it's like a gym workout. Okay, so it's okay with that. Just want to space them out a bit so I can cut them. Cut them out of the plastic once it's been through the laminating machine. Okay, yep. Let's go with a butterfly. The backing's already off that. And these are old ones, so I bought them at the op shop, so I'm not sure how well they're going to work. Oh, that's not working at all there. Rub some more. Well, that hasn't come off the backing at all. Okay, which is a problem because they're the ones that you can feel that they don't feel sticky anymore. Definitely. So I'm just going to I'll just try that one just to see, and if it doesn't come off I'll just leave it on there the way it is and see what happens to it. No, it's not coming off. So that would be the same because it's off the same package. So I'll just pop that in there. Okay, so now my page is a little bit barer than I thought it was going to be. What else can I put in there? I didn't end up using any of my butterfly cutouts, but I went into my dried flowers and got a dandelion and some clover, a couple of dried leaves. Now on the same page as I got my kangaroo from were these 3 little animals as well. So there's a wombat and I can't remember the other things, but they're marsupials. So I put them on. I put the original, this one that I tried to rub on, I put it back on there. So we'll see what happens, and then that one's there. So my laminator is hot. So I'm going to close that up and take it over to the machine. We'll see what happens. So this is what I got. I'm not sure what happened with this one. It's got a white thing around it. But they're not too bad. But the only thing is, of course, you haven't got anything on the back of most of them, except for the actual flowers that I use, the real flowers. But who says that you have to be able to see both sides in a specimen window, specimen card. Okay, so I'm going to cut out a couple of these and make a card from one or two of them, and same with that. And then I really think that the cockroach has to go into a card for a fly. Never mind. It feels really funny too. It must be different types of glue sticks, because I'm sure I've got glue sticks that dry clear. Yeah, I'm just going to square off the cockroach. I'm going to use this one. One of the clover flowers. So that's my 3 samples. So I've got my cockroach in the hot glue, minus his antenna, which is up there. I've got a little beetle, flying beetle, and I've got a dried clover flower. Okay, so this is the cockroach one. I haven't dressed it up at all, just glued it in there. So it's a strip of cardboard like that I've just scored and evened the bottom up and then punched a hole in the middle. I would have liked it if it was a bit higher up, but my punch wouldn't reach into the middle of the cardboard. So with this one here, I'm going to do the same thing. So it's a flower. I'm going to use this scallop punch, and I'm just going to cut this down a bit so I can actually get the punch further up the cardboard. Half an inch off it, each side, each end I should say. I'm just going to tidy that up. Might have to trim that a bit more later on. I'm just going to push that in until it's... I'll put it all the way in, all the way down. Yeah. Hopefully it's not too close to the bottom. I know that's perfect. Same on this side. And hopefully when I fold that over, yeah, they match up nicely. And I've got some cardboard flowers for later on. So this has got to go in there. And I need to trim a bit off. So that's going to sit inside the card like that. And you can see it from both sides. So what I'll do is use some double-sided tape to adhere that in. Because there's nothing loose inside, it doesn't matter if... it's not like it has to hold anything, you know, it doesn't have to contain anything, so it doesn't matter if it's a little bit, like it doesn't need the sides done, that's what I'm trying to say. Oops. Going to place that in there. So it's not quite in the middle, but that doesn't matter. Now we're going to seal that up. I just had a thought. Before I seal it, I'm going to put a little bit of lace or something down there. I've got a bit of mulberry paper. I thought if I could put a bit of that poking out, that'd look nice. Just going to trim that inside edge so it's nice and tidy and it's not touching the flower, obscuring the flower in any way. And pop that on there. Bring it out a bit. Just put a bit of extra on this side because it's got to go through the mulberry paper. Seal that up. And it needs to have something heavy put on it just for a minute, but that's how that one looks with a little bit of fabric sticking out, the paper sticking out. So I'm just going to put the punch on top of it till the glue goes off. Now I have my double-sided tape one. So this one doesn't need to be like punched in both sides because you can't see what's on the other side anyway. So I've got a piece of this tea bag thread paper left over from another project. I think I'm going to use that as the inside. On the outside it's tea stained. So I'm just going to fold that in half. I'm going to stencil something on there. So I've got this stencil which looks big, but I'm only obviously going to do part of it. I've got brushed corduroy, distress oxide, got this round domed dauber shaped thing. Put it in the corner. I'll do this to both sides, even though I know one's going to be cut out. That's okay. Maybe this could have to be the back. I don't know how far that's going to go in. That looks pretty close to the middle actually. And of course it doesn't chop properly because there's tea bag strings in there. Need to cut this down so it'll fit in there. So it sits in there like that. Okay, so I'm going to put some of this on there. Double-sided tape. I'm going to put it on all four sides on this one because it's packaging tape. It doesn't have much structure. I'd like it to stay, you know, like not to have any possibility of moving around or bending in any way. It's not really the best. Well, I'm hoping that you can't see that tape when I pull it off. Let's hope. I'm going to do another one if it doesn't work. I mean, and I can always stick something around the edge of it. There's always a way of fixing something up. You can see the tape and it's sticky, so that's going to be a problem if I don't put something on there. So I'll put that down there, which is the worst side. The bottom is the worst. Cut that off there. So I've got these tiny little stamps. Oops. This one's just got a number on it. So that can go on there. And then I have some little things here. Just need the tiniest little bit of something. Let's just say natural history and something bookseller. No. There's another little number. That's a sticker that could go there. Okay, so that can go there. Should probably stick it together. I'm going to put some down the middle, like that. Let's put a clip on it. And then I want this on there. I can trim that down a little bit. Ink around the outside, just with the same brushed corduroy. And this one could be a little bit tricky to stick on as well, because it's corrugated cardboard. That's where I need to put my clip. I'm just going to wipe away the excess glue. I'm not going to bother doing any more stenciling on that, but I will put a eyelet in it. So I've got my winged beetle in here. I've got my cockroach. So this was, well, that one was the packaging tape. This is the hot glue. Needs to be decorated. And this one is the laminator with the clover flower in it. And it's just got a bit of that in there. I just thought of something that would go really nicely on the cockroach one, because it's a real juxtaposition of ideas, and from something horrible to something pretty. If I can see where it went to. I've got this little daisy. I'll just scrunch it a little bit. I'll do a piece of this mulberry paper across the top there, put that there, and I'm going to staple that on. A staple from the back so that I don't actually have the staple, just the little legs showing on the front. And then maybe that won't hold, so let's do another one just to be sure. There we go. Okay, so let's find a place for that to go in the journal. I did a little bit of embellishing, extra embellishing of my specimen cards. So on my cockroach one, I've just put a safety pin up the top and one of those little labels. So it says Private Collections Specimen. On this one I've put the eyelet through and a piece of string, and then I put a little specimen label onto this one as well. I had totally forgotten all about my kangaroo, and it does have no relevance to this page whatsoever, but I thought what I could do is just stick it on this little strip of cardboard, same as these things are made from, and hang it off the edge of the page or something like that, because there's a ribbon over there which will stop the page from tearing. So I'll just do that now. Okay, and I also managed to punch out through the hot glue this dandelion, so I thought I'd stick the dandelion on there. And what I've also got left over are my pieces where I punched the circles out. So I'm thinking that they could be stuck on the page somehow, just so everything is all pulled in together. I don't know how to attach these to. Oh, I know. Yes, I've just had an idea. Okay, I'm going to use my pieces of my circles to be my my little tuck spots. So I'm going to do that. Okay, alrighty. So I'm going to take care of that and then come back and show you when it's finished. Alrighty, this is what I've done. This is my spread. I've got my little specimen windows tucked in behind these things, and that's the dandelion in the hot glue. Made a page tab of 2 of those circles. Got my beetle in there, got another page tab there. My kangaroo's hanging on the corner of the page for no other reason than he was my randomly chosen animal. Also did some stamping in the background and splattered some white ink around. Added a little bit of embellishment to each of these things. Got the brad and the label. A bit of string through the eyelet there, and pin on that one, and a little label. So that's all done. So that's day 24, and I'll see you for day 25, which is leather, ATC, and my random animal is bear. So thank you very much for watching. I'd love it if you could leave me a comment, let me know what you think about what I've done, and if you're not already subscribed to my channel, I invite you to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. So thanks for watching. Cheers from Australia. Hooroo!